What's going on, FA Nation? It is NFL Thursday, week 1 of the NFL season tonight. We have a big game, Kansas City Chiefs versus the Houston Texans. I'm host Jen Piacenti. I am joined by Adam Ronis. Adam, how's it going today?
It's great. We're finally here. We've been waiting for this day for a long time. Obviously, a couple months ago, there was some skepticism if we would get here, but I think we knew all along with the way the NFL was handling things that this day would come to fruition. We didn't have any preseason, and week 1's going to be wild. It's going to be like something we've never seen, and usually week 1 of the NFL season, even with preseason, brings a lot of things that are unpredictable, but this is going to be a wild week. We're already dealing with injuries. I will just say this. I said it on Twitter earlier today. If you don't have anyone playing in tonight's game, you don't need to make a lineup decision today. It is Thursday. We have 3 days until Sunday morning. There are no other games after tonight. We don't have complete information. You always want to make a decision, whether it's fantasy or in life, with the most information at hand, right? If you have like a career change or you're making a big move, don't you like sit there, think it out and go, what are the pros? What are the cons? There's no rush right now. We just getting initial practice reports. So yeah, if you have someone tonight and someone that's questionable on Sunday, sure, we're here to help you. But if you have no one in tonight's game, just relax. We have a couple days. We're going to be here all the time. We will answer these questions, get it right for you.
You guys, while you populate the chats, we're on Twitter, YouTube, and Facebook. So if you want to populate the chat with questions, we're going to get to those. First, we want to just address a few things. First of all, I want to piggyback on what Adam just said. I put out a tweet earlier today. One mistake that a lot of people make is not using their flex slot appropriately. If it's Thursday and you want to play Will Fuller, and you should, I think we'll get to that, you need to play him in your wide receiver spot. Don't play him in your flex. Even if mentally you're thinking, oh, Will Fuller's my flex play. Listen, you're leaving yourself with even less options for Sunday. We don't know what news is going to come out. And on that, we've already had some news come out today. Looks like Gallaudet tweaked his hamstring. Looks like Cortland Sutton hurt his shoulder. So those are 2 pretty big things that might affect, and you might wish that you had not played Will Fuller in your flex at that point. So any concern with you, Adam, there about Cortland Sutton or Gallaudet? How are you working those? And of course, let's address Mike Evans as well.
Yeah, and I echo what you said about the flex. I actually got into an argument. Someone was like, well, this guy's my flex, so he has to be in flex. No, that's not how it works. It's what you're trying to do is leave yourself the most flexibility for Sunday. So if you put Fuller in your flex spot tonight, you just make life difficult for yourself, where you're going to be forced to put someone in or not play someone because you use that spot up. I'm sure you don't have 5 guys.
You can still play Michael Thomas in your flex. It doesn't mean he's not your receiver 1. Like, don't get caught up on that.
Right. So, if you have someone playing tonight, you put him in the wide receiver spot or the running back spot or tight end. Your flex should not be used tonight unless you have like 5 guys in this game. And I doubt many people do, but maybe someone in an auction stack the Chiefs. I doubt it, but that would cost a lot. But yeah, Mike Evans, I'm definitely concerned about Mike Evans for sure. And I don't even like this matchup to begin with. Marshawn Lattimore, he's going to likely go against. He got shut down by him last year. One game it had a 0. So, I mean, I have Evans pretty low in the rankings. But again, you can't really make this decision until Sunday. Bruce Arians said that Evans is going to be a game time decision. Even if he doesn't practice, they feel like he obviously knows the offense well enough that they can put him in. But I lean towards him not playing. But you're going to have to wait till Sunday morning to make that decision. I mean, if you're down to Fuller or Evans tonight, and those are your only 2 choices, go Fuller. No question about it. Cortland Sutton came out that he's day-to-day with an AC sprain joint. I did see Brandon Stokely tweet out, a former wide receiver, said he should be good. Worst case scenario, it's a pain tolerance thing. He'll take a cortisone shot and likely play. The problem with this game is Monday night. Remember, there are 2 Monday night games this week. So that's a decision you're probably going to have to make Sunday morning when we have more information. Again, it's Thursday night. We still have a few days. The pain could subside. He might say, hey, I'm good to go. So again, you're going to have to wait on him. My guess is he could be limited. Gallaudet, it seems like he's gonna play, but again, only a Thursday practice. Friday is always key. If they at least are limited in that walkthrough, it's a good sign. But again, these are all guys that you're going to have to wait till Sunday. There's no need to make a judgment tonight unless you're deciding between players that are going tonight. And speaking of tonight's game, Brandon Cooks is active. We thought he might play, but I haven't seen any reports about him being limited. I still think it's dicey to play him. Many people probably drafted him as their wide receiver 3 or 4. If you have a healthier option, I'd probably go in that direction.
So that's what I was going to say. I think that if you drafted Cooks, you drafted him in a position where you have more depth, that you can do something about it. You weren't counting on him. I don't think you need to play Cooks tonight, and I wouldn't do it. I'm sorry if he goes off tonight, but I wouldn't put my egg in that basket. Let me ask you about the Mike Evans thing. You mentioned him being shadowed by Marshawn Lattimore. If he's out, do you think that means that Marshawn will go over and cover Chris Godwin? And should we be concerned about Chris Godwin? And does that also potentially raise how you're valuing Gronkowski?
No, I'm assuming they'll probably try to keep Godwin in the slot away from Lattimore. Typically, he usually doesn't go and cover the slot, so that will help Godwin get targets. I think Gronkowski, you're probably going to see on key third downs and near the red zone. So, yeah, that could boost him up a little bit. I mean, I think most weeks with Gronkowski, you are relying on a touchdown anyway. It seems like the volume is not going to be there. At least early in the year, they kind of want to limit him. Some of the reports that came out. But, again, we could hear all these reports. We're going to really find out things here in the first couple of weeks. But if Tampa Bay does get in the red zone, you got to think Gronkowski will be in those packages. And with tight end being kind of difficult, it kind of makes him a top 15 play this week at tight end.
Yeah, I agree. So we got just a couple questions rolling in, but they're a little slow. So let's talk a little bit more about this game tonight. I want to preview it. Favorite place for tonight, Vegas. I believe last I checked, Vegas had Kansas City favored by 9.5. Are you taking that bet? Are you taking the money line? Are you taking Houston and the points? What are you doing?
Yeah, I'm taking the Texans getting 9.5. I put a small wager on that. I think they keep this game close. I mean, last year they led in that playoff game 24-0, and then Kansas City came storming back because when their offense is rolling, they're kind of unstoppable. We saw it the previous year against New England in the playoffs. When that game went overtime, Kansas City got off to a really bad start. They picked it up in the second half, and New England won the coin toss in overtime. If New England didn't win that coin toss, Kansas City would have won that game. New England was not stopping that offense. So when Kansas City's offense is rolling, they're difficult to stop. But I just think the Texans are going to be competitive in this game. Deshaun Watson just got his big contract. He's one of the top quarterbacks in the NFL, and he's got enough weapons. Will Fuller is healthy. I mean, love Will Fuller tonight. Fuller is a guy that as draft season went on, I was more open to taking him, understanding that there is risk. Everyone's going to point to the last 3 seasons. He has missed 20 games due to injuries. That doesn't mean he's going to get hurt this year. What if he plays 15, 16 games? And you had to pay a 7th, 8th round pick for him. At that point, you're swinging for the fences. So I was open to doing it. I didn't get him in as many leagues as I wanted to. I got him in my home league.
I only got him in one.
Yeah, I think there's a high ceiling there. I mean,
but,
what's going to happen. If you have
Will Fuller, you have to play him tonight. He's healthy, so there's no excuse. You got to play him tonight. He's your home run threat. Play him tonight.
And we know what's going to happen. If Fuller gets hurt at some point, everyone's going to go on Twitter, oh, I told you, see, this and that. But at 7th, 8th round, that's where you can take some risk. And I was willing to do it on Fuller, but I didn't get as much as I wanted to. But he has a dynamic connection with Deshaun Watson. I mean, he even put up good numbers last year when healthy with DeAndre Hopkins there. And now Hopkins is gone. We could see that Fuller target share go up. This should be a game where the Texans are playing from behind, too, so it's going to be pass heavy. So I do like Fuller a lot tonight.
A lot of talk about Randall Cobb. A lot of people got him late in drafts. Is this a play you would make?
I do like him. I'm not going to force him in my lineup. I did draft him in a couple leagues, including an RT Sports Championship that I did last night. But I can't put him in there over a Marvin Jones and guys like that. So it really depends on what your alternatives are. I mean, there could be someone out there with Evans and Sutton, right? And Gallaudet. It's realistic, and maybe you have Cobb, and maybe you go, all right, I got 3 receiver spots to start, a couple that are injured. Let me put Cobb in tonight. But I think Cobb has a solid game. I could see him catching 5, 6 passes, 60, 70 yards. Game script's going to be conducive for the Texans to throw. So, yeah, I mean, Cobb would be more of a wide receiver 4, but if you're desperate tonight and you're really hurting a wide receiver, he's not a bad play. This is a matchup where he can get you double-digit points in a PPR format tonight.
So on the Chiefs side, obviously Tyreek Hill and Travis Kelce are must starts. What about the other guys, Mecole Hardman, Amy Watkins? Any interest there? And what about the running back? Obviously, I think most people are going Clyde Edwards-Helaire, but what about Darrell Williams?
Yeah, I think Williams is if you're desperate
Okay.
because I know we saw some reports that it could be 60-40 in favor of CEH or 50-50. It's kind of unclear, but I would play Edwards-Helaire if you have him and understand maybe he could get sniped at the goal line, but he's going to be involved in the passing game. I think they're going to want to get him going. Williams is risky because he could either come through with, 2 short touchdowns near the goal line or give you 30 rushing yards and that's it. So I have him in a couple leagues. I'm not playing him. You would have to be desperate, 14, 16-team league, but I would probably shy away. Same thing with Mecole Hardman. He's a roll of the dice. We know how dynamic he is, averaged over 20 yards per catch last year, but he still played less snaps than Sammy Watkins. So
Right.
Hartman is really a desperation play. If you're playing in a showdown slate, sure, you can go with him because the thing with Hartman is he only needs like 1 or 2 catches to get it done. I mean, he could go 2 for 80 and a touchdown, but you don't want to bank on that in week 1 when you have a full roster at your disposal.
So kind of piggybacking on what you just started to mention, we have a question on YouTube. How should we approach the single game slate tonight on DraftKings?
Yeah, I mean, I typically don't play in a lot of them, but you're always trying to find someone that is low owned. I mean, you can't be low owned on everyone. You're going to have to get your exposure to, one of the quarterbacks, mix in. I mean, Kelce had a huge game against the Texans last year, 3 touchdowns in that playoff game. Tyreek, but yeah, I mean, you need to find a guy like a Watkins, a Hardman, maybe a Fells at tight end for the Texans, a Kenny Stills. Kenny Stills. Now that people see Brandon Cooks active, they're going to back away from Kenny Stills. What if Cooks plays? What if he's limited? What if he plays 40% of the snaps? Maybe Stills sees the field a little bit more, one big play, and that's kind of what you're looking for. So that's the thing is you have to kind of differentiate yourself and go with someone low owned and kind of hope they break a big play. But in this game with the Chiefs, people will gravitate towards Watkins, towards Hardman, maybe a Williams if he's cheap. Because, again, Williams could get 2 rushing touchdowns. What if they get inside the 4 and they hand the ball to him? We don't really know who's going to, if they'll keep Edwards-Helaire in there. So you're looking for that one play that kind of differentiate yourself. And the kickers, too, believe it or not. Sometimes the kickers play a big role in that.
Yeah. Yeah, that's a good point. I mean, for me, like low ownership wise, I think I would go Darren Fells or Kenny Stills. But hey, if you want to go kicker, hey, fly your freak flag. I'm just kidding. Okay, we got a few questions rolling in on Facebook. Let's start here. Standard League flex spot: Fuller, Gordon, Djax, or Howard?
Oh man, this is a good one. This is standard. This comes down to Fuller. This comes down to Fuller and Deshawn Jackson, and I like both these guys this week. But I think I have to go with Fuller in this one.
Okay.
The total's 54.5. They're expected to be a lot of points. Now Jalen Reagor did practice in full. There's a chance he could play. I still think Deshawn Jackson's a good play this week. He's going to be popular in DFS. I like both these guys, but if I'm picking one, I'm leaning towards Will Fuller. I think there's a good chance he finds the end zone tonight. So give me Will Fuller with Deshaun Watson.
Yeah, I really like Will Fuller too, but you can't really go wrong. I echo the thing about Djax, and I do already have him in some lineups. Look, this guy 2 seasons in a row has gotten 2 touchdowns and 140 plus yards in week 1 of the season. It's a revenge game narrative. They're banged up at wide receiver. They're playing Washington. I don't see any reason why Deshaun Jackson isn't going to go for 100 yards and a score as well. So I think they could be pretty comparable.
He had the same matchup last year against this Washington football team week 1 and had 2 touchdowns. So
exactly the same. So, in the year before that, it was New Orleans. So it's not just even Washington. He's really great in week 1, and he is really great versus Washington. So on both levels, and there's just nobody there. Reagor did practice today, but again, he's a rookie. And Alshon Jeffrey, though he's been activated, he's not actually going to play. He's not healthy enough yet. So I like both the tight ends in this game as well. Sorry, I'm going on a tangent, but, you could probably get Dallas Goedert and get a little value out of him as well in that Philadelphia game versus Washington. So, okay, another question. PPR league, Should I flex? D. Johnson, I don't know what. D. Johnson doesn't help us. I hope it's David Johnson, Lamb, or D. Johnson again. Okay, so I guess this is David Johnson, Duke Johnson, or C.D. Lamb.
It could be Deontay Johnson, Duke Johnson.
It's true. It could be Deontay Johnson. Jeez. Right. So play Lamb, because that's the only thing we can tell you.
If it's David Johnson, I would play him. I wasn't the biggest fan of him going into the year, but he's healthy in week 1. He's one guy that I really want to watch tonight to see how he performs. I want to see his health. He obviously has talked up that he has a lot to prove. We know the Texans want to feed him the football. But again, if the game plays out like we think, if the Chiefs play from ahead, that could put David Johnson in a position to catch a lot of passes. You know, he could have 4 or 5, maybe 6 receptions tonight. I'm also interested to see, though, is he out there for every third down? You know, do they use Duke Johnson?
Or it's Duke, yeah.
But yeah, I do like CeeDee Lamb this week. He has a good matchup because Amari Cooper is going to get a lot of Jalen Ramsey, I would assume, if he's on the outside. They could put Cooper in the slot at times. But Lamb is not a bad play this week, but you got to go with David Johnson for the volume here.
I agree. And to your point about Amari Cooper, I don't have any shares of him, but I think Michael Gallup's looking really good for Sunday for everyone. There's panic that Michael Gallup's not going to get anything. Then you look at Cooper's matchup Sunday, and I think Gallup looks good, and so does CeeDee Lamb. Okay, PPR league. I think this is an obvious answer, but maybe we'll differ. Jordan Howard, Hollywood Brown, Mike Gesicki, or Brandon Cooks?
I will go with Hollywood Brown.
I agree. Hollywood Brown all the way. Someone just asked, and you kind of already said, but if you want to expand a little more, what's your thought on starting David Johnson?
Yeah, I mean, I think he's an RB2 this week. He should get a ton of volume in this game. They obviously traded a lot for him, trading away Hopkins. So even if they fall behind, you got to think, I mean, one of his biggest strengths is catching the football out of the backfield in the passing game. And if they do fall behind, either way, they're going to have to pass a lot to keep up with the Chiefs. The Chiefs are just explosive. And I would think that in week 1, the offenses are going to be ahead of the defenses a little bit. So, Johnson to me, David Johnson is like a solid RB2 this week.
Okay, great. Should PR League flex David Montgomery, Tyler Boyd, or Leonard Fournette? I say Boyd. Who do you say?
I do too. I mean, we just don't know the touch amount for Leonard Fournette this week. Mm-hmm. So I think, we could see a little bit more Ronald Jones. So if you have the ability to not play him, I think it's wise. I think the Bengals are going to play well this week against the Chargers. So I'm going to go Tyler Boyd. And we saw how good he was last year. And, he could rack up the catches. So I'll go Tyler Boyd.
Okay. PPR. Sterling Shepard or Deshaun Jackson?
It's Deshaun Jackson. Sterling Shepard has that matchup against the Steelers. It's going to be tough. But, again, Deshaun Jackson, great matchup this week. He's healthy. For the people that drafted Deshaun Jackson, you're going to be happy week 1. I don't know if you will be week 7. I don't know if he's going to be healthy. But enjoy it right now. He's healthy. He's in good shape. He's got the speed. He was really the missing element from that Eagles offense last year. They just didn't have that deep threat. Just his ability to be on the field. The safeties have to worry. They can't creep up in the box. They have to worry about getting beat with Deshaun Jackson. They didn't have that last year. And that's why that Eagles offense, they were able to move the ball, but it was easier to defend them. With Deshaun Jackson in there, it's a lot more difficult to defend him. It opens up the middle, which is good for the tight end. So, enjoy Deshaun Jackson while he's healthy, and you just hope that he can be the whole year.
I second that call. All right, I'm jumping over to YouTube, guys. Those were our friends on Facebook. Jumping over to YouTube now. Questions are rolling in. Okay, need one. Wide receiver, half-point PPR. Sutton, McLaurin, Boyd, or Fuller?
Oh, man. Sutton we gonna have to leave out right now.
Yeah.
I'm going to leave McLaurin. I really like him a lot this year.
So.
He's going to get a huge target share in this offense. So I do like Fuller this week as well, but I'm going to leave McLaurin here. I mean, the fact that the fact that you can only play one of those guys, I mean, maybe it's an 8 or 10 team league, but man, I want to be in a league where I can play all of them.
Right. Well, maybe, and remember, this is from John. John, remember, please start Fuller as your wide receiver and leave yourself the option at flex to play any of these other receivers as well, because we don't know what's going to happen between now and Sunday. So please, if you to start Fuller tonight, start him as your wide receiver. But Adam votes McLaurin. It's a tough one. I sort of vote Fuller, but McLaurin would be my very close second choice. That's a tough one. All right, another question. Half-point PPR. Need one wide receiver and one flex. Gallaudet, Akers, Hollywood Brown, Howard, Tariq Cohen, CeeDee Lamb, Jerry Jeudy.
Yeah, I don't think you can answer this question correctly right now, because if Sutton's out, Jeudy gets a boost, and
Jeudy
we like
gets
him.
a boost.
Yeah,
if Gallaudet is out, you're not playing Gallaudet.
Yeah, so I think this is a question. You don't have anyone in tonight's game. I think you have to wait. And I don't know if you heard it before, but I went through all my teams. Anything with nobody in tonight, not worried about it. I'm gonna make that decision Saturday night, Sunday morning, because again, we can tell you something now, and it could change tomorrow. It could change Saturday. Right. It could change Sunday morning. So we're gonna be here. We'll answer those questions, but I don't want to give you an incomplete answer right now. I could tell you, Gallaudet, and then he doesn't play.
Right, right.
So I think you need to wait on the injuries of these guys.
And on that, guys, we will be here Sunday morning. It'll be Howard Bender and I will be here to help you Sunday morning, too. So any of these questions, you can shoot them back over Sunday morning. All right, it's my friend, El Tiburon. Say hi to your mom. Love her. She's so cute. Do you think Darius Slayton or Golden Tate are good injury replacements for Cortland Sutton? He loves Cortland Sutton. I remember this from last year.
I would say Tate is not. There were reports at practice that he doesn't look right and he's not healthy. So now this is obviously because both teams play Monday night. I would prefer better option than Slayton only because the Steelers defense is very good. So of the two, I would go Slayton. But if you have another option, again, we might get news on Sunday that Sutton's out. We might get news he's good to go, that the pain subsided. That he had swelling tonight, a little on Friday, Saturday he's fine, Sunday morning he's fine. Again, that game's Monday night. So I like the forward thinking, because you have to say, all right, that's what you have to do. If you're gonna wait around for Sutton on Monday, you got to have another option. I believe the Steelers-Giants game is first, I would think, because it is in Jersey, and then the second game's in Denver. So I'm pretty sure that's how it's going to work, because I don't have the schedule in front of me. I'm almost certain Giants-Steelers are the first game.
They are. They're the 7:15 p.m. game.
Right. So I would, if you're waiting on one of them, it would be Slayton. But hopefully we have more information on Sutton again. And look, I understand everyone's anxious. This happened. Like, someone messaged me today. Oh, I saw Sutton got hurt. Who am I going to start? Like, relax, man. Like, we have time to set your lineups. Even if you do something on Sunday morning and you got to set it beforehand. You got Saturday, and you have cell phones. So you get alerts.
But we've been waiting so long, Adam. We've been waiting so long to set our lineups.
I know that, but we want to make the best decision. We don't want to rush it and make a mistake. So I'm telling you, I do the same with mine. I just went through all my lineups all Thursday. No Thursday night games, all Sunday and Monday. I'm not even going to sweat it. Not even going to make the decision. Just look to make sure, who do I have tonight? One thing, I have Fuller and Kelsey. Make sure they're in. I'll worry about the rest of it Saturday night, Sunday morning, because we just don't have complete information right now. A lot of players' values are going to shift. If Kenny Galladay's out, we love Marvin Jones and TJ Hawkinson. So you could ask a question now, and you have better receivers, and I tell you not to play Marvin Jones. Then we find out on Friday or Sunday morning, Galladay's out, and on Thursday, I asked you about Marvin Jones, and you said sit him. Well, we didn't have the right information at the time. Things change, and you just got to adjust to the news. And you have to be on top of things. The people who put in the work and pay attention get rewarded.
Ronis is fiery tonight, but you are handing out some good advice, and it's not just for football. It's like for life. If you're really excited about something, just slow down, chill out, don't rush it.
Yes, be
Fantasy
patient.
Football lineups, be patient. Enjoy the fun. You're really excited.
Enjoy the moment.
Moving along. Half-point PPR. Need one running back and one flex. Miles Sanders, Devin Singletary, Ridley, Woods, Howard, N'Keal Harry, and Zach Moss. Oh, can I just quickly, we'll go back to this. Guys, Zach Moss is only $4,700 on FanDuel. So I want to just drop that little nugget out there. I think you should all think about Zach Moss, who is at minimum getting the Frank Gore role for $4,700 on Sunday. Okay, so back to this. You need to pick two. Miles Sanders, Devin Singletary, Calvin Ridley, Robert Woods, Jordan Howard, N'Keal Harry, and Zach Moss. Half-point PPR.
Yeah, I mean, there's three options here for me. It's Sanders, Ridley, and Woods, the top three. Sanders is another guy that we're going to have to wait on a little bit. He was, I believe, limited at practice today.
He has to have one running back, so I think Sanders is the lock.
Okay, so it was one running back, one flex?
Yeah, my bad.
All right, so
Sorry,
we're going to go with
back, one flex.
We're going to go with Sanders right now, but make sure we monitor the news. You know, the Eagles have not added a running back. They have three, and Corey Clement was added to the injury report today. So if they don't make any moves at running back, that would lead me to believe they feel Sanders is fine. Maybe he doesn't play. Maybe he splits 50-50 with Scott. But if he's on the field, I'm going to play him. A wide receiver, Ridley and Woods, is a real tough one. But I'm going to lean with – I'm going to lean Ridley. I think he has a better shot to score a touchdown. It's half-point PPR. They're both good plays, but I lean Ridley.
Both really good plays. I also lean Ridley, but just barely because of the touchdown, like you said, and because it's only half-point PPR. Woods might have more receptions, but Ridley more likely to get into the end zone based on Robert Woods last year, who had, I think, two touchdowns all of last year.
He always gets that one rushing touchdown.
Which is kind of cool. Who doesn't want a guy that does that? I have a lot of Robert Woods. I love him. Okay, so another one. Full-point PPR. Need one wide receiver and a flex. Gallaudet, Hollywood, Swift, Cooks, White, Mack, and Rojo. Well, no Rojo.
Well, it's
full-point PPR.
Yeah, I mean, Gallaudet was one that stood out. He had us about Cooks. Just say Cooks. You don't need to play him. So it was Holiday, Gallaudet, and James White, right?
Hollywood, DeAndre Swift, James White, Marlon Mack. And Rojo.
Yeah, I wouldn't play him. Mack's in consideration. You know, it's a game that favors them. It looks like it's going to be a split.
Jacksonville. Yeah.
Yeah. So, and Gallaudet, I think you need to wait on. So
I would play.
Don't play Cooks tonight. That's the bottom line.
Yeah, I would go Hollywood. Right as of today, I would go Hollywood Brown and Mack. Those are the two I would take because you need one wide receiver and a flex. I'd go Hollywood and Mack. Unless Gallaudet is healthy, then I might go Gallaudet and Hollywood.
Yeah, if Gallaudet is active and he's not limited, I think you play him in this matchup.
Yeah, I think so. Okay, full point PPR. Need a flex. Singletary, Akers, Rojo, Taylor, Boyd, or McLaurin. Full point PPR.
McLaurin.
PPR, need two. Fuller, Metcalf, or Gallaudet? Fuller, Metcalf.
Oh, here, yeah, man.
You have to play Fuller tonight. You're not really just going to wait for Metcalf and Gallaudet when you, are you? I mean, I guess you could.
Yeah, no, you know what? No, you're right. And this is a situation that people have to deal with sometimes. And, you know, it might not work out. But as I've been saying, you make the best decision with the information at hand. We're not sure about Gallaudet. He might play. He might be fine. But we don't know that. And if you wait and those are your only two options, now you have to replace Gallaudet with a lesser option when Will Fuller's a good play tonight. So let's just play Will Fuller tonight, and then we'll figure out the other guy on Sunday.
All right. That is our questions on YouTube. I'm popping over to Periscope. I don't see any questions here. Maybe people are commenting on Twitter because it's weird we don't have any. So hopefully I'm doing this right. But I don't know if somebody else, maybe Matt, our producer. Hey, Matt, our producer on the other side of the glass. What's up? Thanks for producing. Will you check and make sure I'm not missing anything on Periscope questions? Because I think it's strange there aren't any. But I'm going to go back over to Facebook because we have more questions. PPR, Gronk or Gesicki?
Oh, that's a tough one. I'm going to lean.
I'm going Gronk, though.
I'm going to lean Gronk slightly for potential touchdown, especially if Evans is out, don't you think?
Yeah, I agree. I wouldn't say Gronk, but now with the Evans news, it just leans it a little bit. And Gesicki, I mean, I have to say, so I want to ask you this. New England, Miami, 6.5 points. Who are you taking in that?
At first I was thinking New England, but I might take Miami. I mean, New England's defense is still good in the secondary. They're weak at the linebackers, all the players that opted out. So I know people were worried about Gesicki in the depth chart, but he's basically a slot receiver. So He's not a bad play this week, but I give Gronk the slight edge.
Yeah, and I just have this feeling, though, that I have the feeling that Miami could be just fine versus New England. That people are overreacting to. And but listen, Fitz beat New England last year. Like, it's not like it can't happen. So, and it's not like they switched quarterbacks. They still have the same quarterback. Gesicki's still there. So I like Gronk though in this case, but I just want to calm everyone down with this New England Miami game. I might even be calling an upset.
I wouldn't be surprised. Like you said, they played them very well last year, beat them, and New England's defense is not as good as it was last year. Yeah,
it's just not. So, and they're just, who knows what's going on there. But all right, next question. Standard League, need a flex. Dobbins, Sims, Ayuk, or Rager?
I think you have to lean Dobbins here. It's a standard. So you're looking for a touchdown. He's going to be in the mix. I don't care what the depth chart says. And he's explosive. He's the type of back, one play, boom, he's gone. So, you can't rely on Sims getting a touchdown. So I would go with...
and Rager may not play. Ayuk may not play. However, if Ayuk plays, he would be my second choice because of his wingspan and the kind of catches he could make. I can see him also getting into the end zone, but he hasn't been playing. So I don't think we should count on that. My chalk play for Sunday has got to be George Kittle facing Arizona. I mean, give me so much George Kittle. Okay, 1 point PPR. Ingram or Chub?
Wow. Most weeks we're going to say Chub, but this is a very difficult matchup against that Ravens run defense, and we know Chub is not going to be heavily involved in the passing game. But he's
plus the concussion coming off that. This is a tough one.
I think he's okay. I'm going to lean Chub because he's capable of breaking off a big play. It's not like Ingram's heavily involved in the pass game either. He only had, I think, 26 receptions last year. So I'm going to go with Nick Chubb. But this is probably one of the weeks where we have him ranked the lowest because of the matchup.
This is from a Sutton owner. First of all, I want to say you haven't lost Sutton yet. He might still be fine, so don't panic. But in a flex spot, are Lamb or Gibson flex worthy?
Oh, yeah. Absolutely. Yeah. Gibson, we don't know exactly what the workload is, but look, Adrian Peterson made comments when they let him go, and he specifically brought up how they love Gibson. So he's going to be in the mix. And Lamb is going to be a big part of this Cowboys offense. Everyone says, well, they have Cooper and Gal. Well, Cobb had 83 targets in this offense last year. And again, Cooper could see a lot of Jalen Ramsey. So, yeah, they're both flex worthy this week.
All right, PPR League, Robert Woods or Devin Singletary at flex?
It's got to be Robert Woods for me.
I
agree. Singletary, we're hearing a split with him and Moss. Moss could get more of the goal line.
We're also hearing he's not able to hold on to the ball very well. So in a PPR league, Robert Woods, on the other hand, is a catch monster. So I think that it has to be Woods.
Yeah, and it's a fair question because I think a lot of times people look at flex. When it's a flex, people look at it and go, I play the running back. Not always.
Yeah, I that's a really good point, Adam. Can we talk about that? Especially in PPR leagues. There are so many people that always default to playing the running back, even in a PPR league, and it seems to me like that's just nonsensical thinking. That's not necessarily the way to accumulate the most points in a flex position. You should always consider a receiver, especially a receiver that has a lot of targets and catches. I don't know. It seems like common sense to me, but maybe not.
No, it's true. I mean, look, typically we expect the running back to have maybe more guaranteed touches, but in the case of Singletary, that might not be the case. It could be a split with Moss or 60-40 in his favor. And we know Robert Woods is a huge part of the Rams offense. It's probably going to be a high-scoring game. It's one of the higher totals of the week. You got to figure Dallas is going to put up points. And Woods is a good bet for double-digit targets. I mean, he could get you 7 for 60, 7 for 70, and a touchdown potentially. And even if he doesn't, 7 for 70 to PPR is 14. Probably a better shot that he's going to outscore Singletary on that. Unless Singletary gets 2 rushing touchdowns, but you can't bank on that.
Okay, Twitter. I see that you're not in Periscope, but I had a feeling that you were sending me comments on my tweet, so I popped over there, and we do have a few. All right. we have someone who is torn between Mecole, Phillip Lindsay, CeeDee Lamb, and Chris Thompson. He can only pick one, full PPR. Who's he going to pick?
Who was the first one?
Mecole Hartman, Phillip Lindsay, CeeDee Lamb, and Chris Thompson.
I'm going to go with CeeDee Lamb.
I like CeeDee Lamb. I'm sort of tempted to also go Phillip Lindsay. I want to ask you this, Adam. This is just me. I'm asking you a start-sit question for my leagues. Why Melvin Gordon or Phillip Lindsay? I mean, you have to go Gordon, right? Because it's Gordon. But, I mean, Phillip Lindsay, would you flex him?
I have him in a couple leagues. I don't want to flex him this week. I want to see what happens in this backfield. You know, it seems like the reports over the last couple weeks have it being closer to a split or 60-40 in Gordon's favor, when a lot of people, I think, believed that Gordon was going to be the main back because they paid him the money. So, yeah, this week I'd go Gordon. But that's one thing I'm watching this week. How do they utilize Lindsay? How much is he on the field?
Yeah, I agree. That's what I'm looking for, too. And I have a feeling that it could be more the 50-50. The fact that Gordon isn't acclimating well to the elevation, I think that's real. And there's a lot of other stuff at play there, too. And, like, I don't know why you'd suddenly unseat a 2 season in a row, 1,000-yard rusher. You know he's perfectly good. So, anyway, that's my tangent. We have more questions. All right, OBJ, Antonio Gibson, James Robinson. Need one half-point PPR.
Look, I know it's a bad matchup for Beckham this week. There's no question about it. And this is probably as low as he'll be in the rankings. But it's difficult for me to sit him if I drafted him. And I did. So I lean Beckham.
Yeah, I think you have to do it too.
If you wanted to go Gibson, I wouldn't think you're crazy. But again, do we know exactly what his role is going to be this week? I mean, again, I think he's heavily involved. I love Gibson. I was drafting him back in June and July, so I have quite a bit, but I would go with Beckham.
I mean, here's what I'm thinking, guys. I mean, I went and made claims for James Robinson. I got Antonio Gibson a long time ago in like a dynasty startup back in like March. But if I drafted OBJ, I probably drafted him, in the 3rd round, right?
Yeah.
So it's week 1. We don't know anything. It's all speculation. Am I really not going to start the guys I drafted in the first 4 or 5 rounds? I mean, it would have to be a really, really terrible matchup for me not to start that guy and instead start someone that was suddenly an undrafted free agent that got named the starter 3 days ago for Jacksonville. I totally get the temptation. We could be wrong, but my thing is here, you drafted that guy because you like him. You drafted him early. You kind of have to start OBJ. I don't have any OBJ. I don't like OBJ, but I think you have to start OBJ.
Yeah, and he's definitely been in the news the last couple of days.
He has, and I won't talk crap about that. All right, here we go. No pun intended. Browns are gonna brown. All right, so this guy has been in his starting lineup, but do you think I start Roethlisberger over Murray? Yes, I think this week you start Roethlisberger over Kyler Murray. What do you think?
It's not crazy, but I gotta go Kyler. I know Ben has the better match. Yeah. Look, I'm not gonna sit here and argue and say no, you're wrong. I do think it's close. Look, Ben has a great matchup. I mean, we know the Giants are vulnerable, but I don't think the 49ers defense is gonna be as good as it was last year. So if I drafted Murray early, I'm gonna play him, and he can run too. That's the thing. Even if he doesn't have the best game passing wise, you know he's gonna run. So I would go Murray, but if you're like you like Ben better, I won't talk you out of it. I think it's close.
Well, I have Murray and Ben in the Scott Fish Bowl, so I hope they're both awesome.
Well, you're playing both because Superflex, right?
Yeah, I am. I'm playing both of them, so let's go. All right, let's see. Oh, we already answered that. Okay, so let's go over here. Full point PPR. Need 2 wide receivers. Cup, Ridley, Fuller, Emmanuel Sanders, or Anthony Miller. Anthony Miller also a very good price on FanDuel, by the way. Sorry, guys, I don't know why I'm obsessed with FanDuel today, but it's been so long, and, it's so much fun.
I would go with Ridley and I think Cup, but I like Fuller. That's a tough one for me. But I think Ridley and Cup, because I think the Rams are going to have to throw in this one. I see Dallas's offense putting up points, so give me Ridley and Cup, but Fuller is right there.
It's hard because that game tonight, and this is the first peek we see at anything. I'd probably go Cup and Ridley as well. But
you want to Fuller over Cup, don't you?
I kind of do because,
That's fine. I think it's close. I won't argue.
It's really hard. I would not want it. But you know what? Kudos to you for having to make this tough decision. How do you have this situation? Congratulations, John.
Add an extra flex next year to your league.
I don't know why I'm crushing Will Fuller, and I think he's going to be awesome tonight, but I just have a feeling, which I could be very wrong about. So
no, I agree.
We'll review this tomorrow. I love Will Fuller tonight. And I don't think the Brandon Cooks thing is a smokescreen. Someone suggested that. I don't think so. All right, I'm checking back over here for more questions on the alarm. Nothing there. Okay, would you start Fuller over Carson in the flex then? Full point PPR?
In a full point PPR, I don't think I could do that. This is one case where I think you do go with the running back. We know he's going to get heavy volume, so I would go with Carson.
Seattle's facing Atlanta.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, you got to go with Carson. All right, let's jump back over here. All right. No questions there. How am I doing with the questions, y'all? Still nothing on Periscope. See, that just freaks me out. I feel like I'm missing something. Sorry if I am, guys. I'll figure out how to do it next time. All right, I'm going to answer some other questions over here. Okay, no, we're really out of questions. So maybe we're going to wrap this up soon. Anything else you wanted to say about strategy, Adam?
No, again, I think you just need to wait until Sunday to make some of these decisions if you don't have any players involved tonight, because we just have incomplete information. And I understand it's the first game of the season. We're in a rush to set our lineup, but you have to make the best decision. And we just don't know about Mike Evans right now. We don't know about Kenny Gallaudet, Cortland Sutton. Deontay Johnson did not practice today for the Steelers, and he hasn't been practicing, so that's a little bit of a concern. That game is Monday night, so if you were counting on him as your potential flex, keep that in mind. Maybe it gives a boost to Eric Ebron, James Washington. So there's still a lot of things that we just don't know. And always remember, too, this happened a lot last year. On Friday, all of a sudden, the Friday injury report, someone's added to it. So that changes things as well. And, Sunday morning, you just have to pay attention for those inactives at 11:30 a.m. Eastern. So there's still a lot of things that we don't know as far as lineup decisions. I understand everyone's in a rush. We're going to be here. We're going to get to them. The live stream on Sunday, the chat, we'll be here. We'll get to them. So don't worry about it. It's only Thursday night, and we still have a lot to learn on the status of some players. There's always like a surprise, too, on a Sunday morning. And remember, COVID-19, we never know what could happen in the next couple of days. So just be ready to follow the news. Make sure you're on fantasyalarm.com. We'll have all the updates and all the information you need to make that best decision when setting your lineups.
Yeah, and that's the thing, guys. With COVID-19, that's another thing to consider. And yet another reason why don't use your flex spot on a Thursday. Don't use your flex spot on a Thursday. Say it one more time. Don't use your flex spot on a Thursday. Wait, give yourself all the options you can, because you still have Sunday and Monday night games. Now, by the same token, Adam, how do you feel about choices between Sunday and Monday? If you're, let's say you are a Cortland Sutton owner and on Sunday you don't have any new information, they say game time decision. What would you do?
Well, if I don't have anyone else in that game or the Giants-Steelers game, I'm probably going to go with someone that's playing on Sunday, because the worst thing you can do is wait till Monday and then you don't have a backup plan and Sutton's out and you had him in the lineup and now you get a zero. We want to avoid zeros at all costs. And look, sometimes these decisions are not going to work out. You might say, on Sunday morning. All right, well, we don't know about Sutton. He's a game time. I don't have anyone else. I can't pick anyone up. There's no one available. I'm just going to have to play Anthony Miller on Sunday. And Sutton plays Monday and goes off. You can't worry about it. It's like you made the best decision you could at the time. It sucks. You're going to kick yourself, but you got to look at the risk reward. Is it worth waiting around to take a zero?
No, zero. Yeah. A couple more questions rolling in over on Facebook. PPR Flex League, Lamb, McLaurin, Gesicki, Howard, and then we got another D Johnson. Okay, guys, if it's a Johnson and his name starts with D, we need all the information. Is it Deontay? Is it Duke? Is it David? I mean, we just got to have more with Johnson. We got to have more with Gordon, because Lord knows that you could actually be talking about Josh Gordon versus Melvin Gordon. These things have happened. Hopefully not. But these things have happened. So specifically for D Johnson's, guys, please give us if it's Duke, David, who both play for the same team and would be a very valid question tonight since they're playing, or Deontay, who's injured. So they're all good questions. But so John Doyle, if you could write back and let us know which, Darian, if you could write back and let us know which Johnson, will circle back to you. Oh, it's David Johnson. Okay. So we wrote David Johnson. Perfect. So we've got Lamb, McLaurin, Gesicki, Howard, or David Johnson.
Yeah, it's McLaurin. It's McLaurin or David Johnson for me. Obviously, I'm a huge McLaurin fan.
I am too.
We know David Johnson's going to get quite a bit of workload tonight, but I'm going to lean McLaurin here.
I really hate to do this, but I might lead David Johnson here, and I'm not a David Johnson fan, but I think that Bill O'Brien has a lot to prove about how he gave up one of the best receivers in the game, and I think they are going to use Johnson a lot. But my second choice, or maybe the better choice, is Terry McLaurin. I adore Terry McLaurin. I'm starting him everywhere I have him. So Adam says McLaurin, I say Johnson, but by a hair. Okay. Do y'all think the Texans cover the spread? Yes, we do, right?
Yes, I do. I put some money on it. So, yes, I like the Texans getting the 9.5.
Great. One more flex. Shark, Woods, or Jonathan Taylor in a standard league?
Oh, that is tough. I was going to say Shark and Woods. Taylor. Yeah, I can't do Taylor because we just don't know. He could score a touchdown. And I wouldn't be surprised if they're up in that game. Like, they do have some injuries on the offensive line. They have two linemen questionable, and Quentin Nelson's hurt, so keep that in mind. So it was Chark, and who was the other?
Woods, Robert Woods. But it's standard league.
Yeah,
You got to go Chark.
Yeah, I agree.
So how you want to go? I'm filling in your words for you, but I'm going Chark. That's my answer.
I like Chark too. Taylor's interesting, man. I could see him popping off a run in the fourth quarter, but I will go with Chark. He's going to get a ton of targets. Love him this year to have another huge season.
Yeah, me too. All right, Chiefs defense or Lions defense?
I am playing the Chiefs in one of my leagues, so I will lean the Chiefs. The thing about the Chiefs that we like is, especially if they play from ahead, they can tee off, they can take risks in the secondary. Deshaun Watson does get sacked a lot, so that helps. So I lean the Chiefs.
Yeah, I lean the Chiefs as well. Someone asked on YouTube what time we'll be here on Sunday. It is 11 a.m. Eastern time. Howard and I will be here. By the way, this is a regular thing. So Adam and I will be here every Thursday at 7 p.m. Eastern time. Sorry, Adam. They asked me, they said, who do you want to be with you on Thursday night since Howard's live on SiriusXM? I said, obviously, Ronis. And then I thought, Ronis is going to kill me. He has enough to do. And I said, I wanted to do the live stream with me.
You know I love working with you, but I heard that I was the third choice for you. So I don't know what's true.
Who told you that? Who told? That is not true.
I have my sources.
I have a text message record. I said, Ronis, if he'll do it, but I kind of thought you might dump me and be like, I'm busy. I have other commitments. I can't commit to every Thursday. I got 74 leagues. I'm winning big money off on a parlay and a Tinder date. I didn't know.
Yeah, well, I'm trying to finish up these fantasy baseball leagues too. So yeah, it is busy. But no, I have time to help FA Nation, man. That's what we're here for, to help them win. We are here to help them win. I was talking to Jake on the pod the other day, and he basically said that he gets off all dating apps
for football season because he doesn't have time. But I want to know, like, what are your priorities, Adam? Sorry to go on a tangent, but we don't have any questions right now. So.
Nah, there's always time for dating, man. You have to have some time for it. So yeah, the window of is a little bit slimmer now because tonight got to keep my eye on the Rockets Lakers game, follow the baseball scores, got the Texans Chiefs. So there's a lot going on, but I'm not going to close it down. The door is always open.
There's always time for a drive-by. Exactly. All right, we got one more question on YouTube. Does Jacobs see more receptions this year now that Las Vegas moved from 2 pass-catching backs?
I hope so. He's someone that has moved up my rankings over the last couple weeks. I did an RT Sports Championship draft 2 this week. One of them was, I can't even remember, Tuesday night, I think. And I took Jacobs. I had to pick 12, and I took Jacobs in that spot. So I hope so. He has a great skill set. And I know, Jen, you love him too. So I hope so. I would think so now.
Look, John Gruden doesn't blow smoke. He says he's going to get him involved in the passing game. Josh Jacobs says he's going to catch 60 passes. I don't know about that, but they are out to prove that he deserved Rookie of the Year last year over Kyler Murray. I think this Vegas offense is going to be very exciting. They're going to put up a lot of points this week versus Carolina. I just really think Jacobs is going to – I think they're going to use him. They got rid of Lynn Bowden. I mean, Jacobs, his backstory, what he came from, everything about him and his talent – He's going to catch some passes. He can catch.
Well, he's a great play this week. He'll probably he might be popular in DFS, but he's in the top 7 running backs this week. Carolina's defense is terrible, so yep. Jacobs is going to have a big week 1.
I have a big Las Vegas Raiders one of my FanDuel lineups, and I was able to afford even Christian McCaffrey coming back. I mean, it's great. Another question we just got: 1 point PPR. Juju, Gallup, Ingram, Boyd. He needs 1 wide receiver and 1 flex. So basically, 1 wide receiver, 1 flex.
Yeah, I think we got to go with Juju here. He's got a really good matchup. And then I would go with Ingram.
You'd go Ingram.
Yeah. I mean, this is, he's still a big part of this offense. He always has a good chance to score 2 touchdowns. I think Cleveland is an improved team. I don't see the Ravens blowing them out, but I'm going to go Ingram with the touch volume. I do like Gallup. Don't get me wrong, but, Ingram.
I like Gallup. I like Boyd.
Yeah. In this one, I'm going to go Ingram, though, because I think Ingram's got to get 15 to 18 touches and always a good bet to score. He's the goal line back.
Just 1 point PPR. I mean, I'd probably go Ingram as well, but wow, I do not envy this decision. So we're going Juju and Ingram, right?
Yeah, I don't like these decisions either. Like, almost every league I have Gallup and Boyd, they're in. Like, you need to get bigger starting lineups. That's the thing I take away from this.
Key. Let me ask you this, Adam. What are your expectations for A.J. Green's involvement and performance after being off for a year and having a new quarterback? Like, if I'm looking at that offense, would I rather have Tyler Boyd or A.J. Green?
Oh, Boyd for me. I was drafting Boyd ahead of A.J. Green. Had Boyd ranked ahead of Green. I love A.J. Green. I want to see him succeed, but he missed all of last year. He missed a lot of time the year before. He's getting older. He already dealt with an issue here in training camp. I'm just not high on A.J. Green.
Okay, here comes a question. I had Carrion and Ridley starting with Thielen in the flex, but now Carrion has hamstring issues. I didn't see that. Is that true? Does Carrion have hamstring issues?
He's had a knee issue. I don't think it was hammy. I mean, he's dealt with the knee, unless I came out late. I didn't see anything about a hammy.
I didn't either. Should I put David Johnson in the flex to be safe?
Flex? No. Start David Johnson over Kerryon Johnson. Get Kerryon Johnson out. That's easy. Don't even play Kerryon Johnson.
And also remember what we told you about the flex. You don't start him in the flex. You start him as your running back. You leave the flex so you can play either Thielen, Ridley, or Johnson. You don't want to tie up your flex, right? So what you're going to do is you're going to start David Johnson as your running back tonight. I'm assuming you have 2 running backs.
Yes. You should not be playing Kerryon Johnson this week unless you're desperate. He's not 100%. They have Adrian Peterson, DeAndre Swift. I mean, that Lions backfield is one that unless one is going to sit, I really don't want a part of this week. And I have drafted quite a bit of DeAndre Swift, but I can't play him this week.
Okay, and then someone asked me who is my favorite rookie this year. Oh man, it's a hard one. If we're talking about who I've drafted the most of, the person I've drafted the most of is Brandon Ayuk, because I think that he will have an immediate impact over there. I've also drafted a lot of Michael Pittman because I thought he would too, but not so sure about that anymore after the depth charts came out. I obviously Clyde Edwards-Helaire, and I have a lot of Cam Akers. So there's so many really talented guys. I don't know that I can say I have a favorite. Super excited. CeeDee Lamb is a Cowboy, though. Can definitely tell you that. How are you feeling about CeeDee Lamb, Adam Ronis?
I love him. I was able to get him last night in that RT Sports Championship draft for the bench. I think it was round 9 or 10. That's what I want. I'm looking for that huge upside swing for the fences play. And remember, Cooper was banged up last year. Gallup even got banged up. If one of those guys go down, CeeDee Lamb is just going to eat. So you want a receiver tied to the Cowboys offense and Dak Prescott. So, yeah, CeeDee Lamb, definitely have him in a couple leagues. Pretty excited for that.
So we just got a follow-up here. So the guy that had Kerryon and Ridley, this is Steve. He had Kerryon and Ridley starting with Thielen in the flex, but now Kerryon has hamstring issues. He now says he has Clyde Edwards-Helaire and Mixon as starting running backs over David Johnson. Really, I guess the question was, should he put... Okay, so I'm confused. So why did you ever have Kerryon starting is the question, if you have CEH and Mixon. So I think what you were asking is whether you should play Kerryon in the flex. So no. The answer is no. Don't. CEH and Mixon are awesome start, obviously start over David Johnson. And then I would stick with, and then I would play Ridley and Thielen as your wide receivers. And then I guess you could play David Johnson as your flex. But because of that, you can still play David Johnson as your running back and then play Mixon as your flex. That's kind of what the point of what we were saying is. Not that he would be your starting running back, but that you want to slot him in at running back. Because even though he's your third string running back, what you don't want to do is find out on Sunday morning that now Clyde Edwards-Helaire has pulled a hamstring and isn't playing at all, and then you don't have the option for your flex spot, right? So you can still play all three of those running backs in your flex, but just don't play Clyde Edwards-Helaire as your flex or play Mixon as your flex. Don't technically slot him as your flex today, because then you lock yourself in, if that makes sense.
Right. You want to have the flexibility. So anyone playing tonight should be in a running back or receiver slot, not in your flex. That's
right. All right. I think that's it, guys. Game time starts in 20 minutes. Gotta hurry. Go make your decisions. Please don't start anybody that's playing tonight in a flex spot. If you can avoid it, that is the message of this live stream. Adam, thank you for spending your Thursday night with me. I'll see you next Thursday.
Definitely. And we'll definitely talk before then somehow.
I'm sure we will. All right, guys. Good luck. Go set your lineups and get ready to win. We'll see you Sunday, 11 a.m. Howard Bender and I will be here. Come back with questions. Twitter, YouTube, Facebook. Follow us all those places. Remember, we are in the chat 24/7 at Fantasy Alarm. If you don't have a lifetime membership, you should get one because you get access to this 24/7. We don't sleep. It's NFL season, besides the fact we still have NBA, MLB, NASCAR. We're crazy. You're crazy. We all love each other. Go out, win. We'll see you on Sunday.